Welcome to Finance with Avery. In this video, I'm going to give you an in-depth, detailed review of the Betterment Cash Reserve Account, which is kind of like a hybrid savings account. Betterment is not a bank. They're a financial technology company. So typically, sometimes these companies don't like to call their accounts that have these high yields, like savings accounts. They'll call them cash accounts or something like that, cash reserve account or high yield account or something like that. This is a high yield account for sure. I'm going to get all into the details about the yield, depositing money, withdrawing money, all of that good stuff. And just in case you're unfamiliar with Betterment, I'm going to talk about here what the company is and what they do. And the company with the cash reserve account has landed on my top 10 savings accounts ranked by APY list video that I do every other month or so. And I do talk about those companies briefly because, like I say, some of them are unknown to several people, and some of them I didn't even know about until I started doing the ranking videos. And so I do have a link down in the description to my playlist on those videos if you want to check that out. But let's get into this video right here with Betterment and the cash reserve account. And Betterment is not a bank. They're a fintech company, which is short for financial technology company. They're also known as a robo-advising company, a smart money manager, an online investment firm. Several different names can kind of be described to briefly, sum up what Betterment is, because they do provide various products. Their main product, which they kind of pretty much started with, is the automated investing. So as you see on their website, they offer automated investing, IRAs and 401ks, and they have where, you just deposit money, you kind of, answer some questions about what your goals are and everything with the money and what you want to do with it, and, your risk tolerance and things like that. And they use various computer algorithms to invest your money for you. It's pretty much a hands-off approach. It's good for people who, they want to invest, they have money to invest, but they don't want to, do all the research and looking at the market every day and seeing what to buy, when to sell and things like that, which is fine. A lot of people do like to do that. I like to do that personally, but the robo-advising, automated investing is definitely less stressful than, looking at the market every day or, buying stocks every other day, every week or something like that. It can be for certain people. So that's what Betterment provides, one of their main accounts right there. And they also have crypto investing, which they bought a firm back in 2022. I'll go over that in their history here soon. And they also offer a high yield cash account, which we're going to talk about in this video today, a checking account, and the rewards is linked with the checking account. And so they have advisors that you could talk to over the phone, to go over your retirement and your goals and different things like that. And Betterment was founded in 2008 in New York City by John Stein, a Columbia Business School MBA graduate, and Eli Broverman, a lawyer out of NYU School of Law. John Stein brought on Eli when he was, starting a financial company. It has a lot of regulations and things like that. So John Stein brought on Eli Broverman to help him with that. And Betterment LLC was established as a Delaware corporation in April 2009. The parent company for Betterment LLC and Betterment Securities is Betterment Holdings, and they were established in Delaware in January 2008. And the company launched at TechCrunch Disrupt New York in June 2010 and won the award of Biggest New York Disruptor. And in January 2016, the company launched Betterment for Business, which was that 401k platform that was aimed at small to medium-sized businesses. And in December 2020, Betterment's founder, John Stein, stepped down as CEO and was succeeded by Viacom Media Network's former COO, Sarah Levy. Or Levi, I hope I'm saying it correctly. And in November 2021, Betterment released a new logo with an icon representing a rising sun. So if you heard of Betterment, a few years ago, it might look a little bit different than it looks now because they changed that logo just a couple of years ago. In 2022, Betterment announced that it had acquired Makara, which is a cryptocurrency portfolio manager. And then later on that year, in October 2022, Betterment launched Crypto Investing by Betterment, which allows their customers to invest in crypto assets. And then earlier this year, 2023, Betterment at Work launched an education savings solution, which allows employers to offer 529 plans alongside Betterment's other properties and products that they have. And this is just a look at the Betterment leadership team. There's Sarah Levi right there, who's currently the CEO, Chief Executive Officer. And you have the CFO, the President, Chief Product Officer, Chief People Officer, SVP, the rest of the leadership team right there. And Betterment has over $40 billion in assets under management and over 800,000 customers. And if you like personal finance and investing content like this, detailed reviews on bank accounts, ranking videos on high yield accounts, CDs, savings accounts, and stock analysis videos, and just all kind of personal finance and investing videos, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. It's free content. My goal is to be very informative and educational and, casual with it. Now let's get more into this cash reserve account. First, let's go over some of the main features of this account. And as you see right here, the first main feature we'll talk about is that high APY annual percentage yield of 4.75%. Definitely on the higher end for these online savings accounts or online hybrid savings accounts, cash accounts, however you want to call them. And that APY is variable, so it's subject to change at any moment. You know, next month it can go up, it can go down. So whatever that APY is currently is what you would receive. So right now, as of me recording this video on September 23rd, 2023, the APY is 4.75%. So that's what you will be earning on your entire balance in this account. And with this Betterment Cash Reserve account, there are no monthly maintenance fees and no minimum balance amount. So none of those fees where you have to have a certain amount in the account or you have to make a certain amount of direct deposits every, statement period or anything like that. No fees associated with this account right there. You have it open, doesn't cost you anything to open it. You have to have at least $10 to open the account. So there is a minimum initial, balance pretty much where you have to start off the account with. You have to deposit at least $10 to start the account. It's part of the process of signing up for it and everything. But you can start off with any amount as long as it is at least $10, but that's not like going towards any kind of fee or anything like that. So yeah, no fees on this account, and they provide up to $2 million in FDIC, Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation insurance for individual accounts and up to $4 million for joint accounts. And we'll get more into detail about all this information with APY and FDIC insurance, how they provide that and everything. And also they provide unlimited withdrawals from your account. So you can transfer, deposit, withdraw from this account as many times as you want. And we'll go into the limits as far as like the dollar amounts, but as far as transactions go, you could, withdraw 10 times in a day or 30 times in a week or, anything like that. There's no like, oh, okay, you only can do 3 times this month or something like that, or a statement period, or none of that right there. So unlimited withdrawals with this account. And they have also savings goals. So you can create multiple savings goals and use the automated tools within the app to get to a certain amount. If you're saving up for vacation or some kind of electronic item or, whatever it is, emergency fund, you want to get a certain, set aside for something. You can do that within the app and have it set up, where you deposit a certain amount every certain frequency, every week, every, 2 weeks, every month, something like that, and just have it going towards that. So it's more of a hands-off approach to help you save something. So neat tool right there. And with these online accounts like this, a lot of times when you're handling the account and doing different features with your account, you're going to be doing that with the mobile app. So it is very important for these companies to have a very user-friendly mobile app that has, various features in it that you can do within the app, because it makes it very convenient with these accounts. And there's various features they have within the app on Betterment that you can handle your account with, including those, of course, those savings goals, seeing your account amount, the interest, the balance, and the recent activity, what kind of reoccurring transactions you've got going on. You can see your total interest paid, of course, the current APY, annual percentage yield, and transferring funds, all that within the app right there you can do. You can easily add a beneficiary to your account, and the beneficiary would not have access, control, or ownership over the account or anything like that. It's just upon the death of either the individual holder or the joint account holders, the assets will be transferred to the beneficiary. So you have the ability to do that with this cash reserve account. And so those are pretty much some of the main features with this account. Some really important features, like me personally, I would not have any kind of cash reserve or savings accounts that was not FDIC insured, or didn't have, unlimited transfers, or had some kind of fees associated with it, with monthly maintenance fees or something like that. So they definitely have things that I think are very important to have with any kind of hybrid savings account or savings account in general. And Betterment makes it noted that this is not a savings account. They don't want people to just hold money here. They say it's for short term because they really push, investing. So with the cash reserve account, for them, they pretty much say this is an account to have money in that you don't plan on, using anytime soon, but you don't plan on just keeping there for like years and years. But that's up to you as far as how long you want to keep it in an account. There's no like time frame of like, oh, you can only have money in this account for a certain amount of time. That's just how Betterment is kind of presenting it. And now let's get more into detail on this APY and interest. So currently, like I stated, the APY on this account is 4.75%. However, if you see right here at the top right here, they have a new customer offer where you can earn 5.50% APY when you open your first cash account with a qualifying deposit. And I made a shorts video on this not that long ago because that is a really high yield. I saw that and I was like, I got to make a quick video on this and tell people how you can, get this high APY. But I'm going to go in more detail with it right here because this 5.50% APY is definitely one of the highest that I've seen. I think it's really the highest. Actually, now that I remember it, I recently made a video earlier September of the top 10 savings accounts ranked by APY annual percentage yield. And there were some ties, so it was more than 10 accounts. But the number one account on that list was this Betterment cash reserve account because of that new customer offer, which will give you that 5.50% APY. So it's a 0.75% boost basically. So no matter what the APY is, which is variable, it's going to be that 0.75 boost on top of it. So if Betterment's APY went up to 5% next week, well, then that new customer offer would be 5.75% APY. So it's just going to add 0.75% on top of whatever the APY currently is, because not that long ago the APY on Betterment was 4.50%, so this new customer offer was 5.25%. So it's just whatever it is going to add it on to that. So that's really neat right there. To get this APY boost, you have to sign up for the account through the Betterment website on that sign up link, either individual or joint cash reserve account. And then you have to complete the deposit requirement, which is a deposit of at least $10 into that cash reserve account within 14 days of opening the account, which is exclusive of the required settlement time, which is typically 2 to 3 business days. So my advice for things like this is, don't wait a certain amount of days. Pretty much the day that you open up the account or the day after, go ahead and initiate the depositing process of getting that, a minimal amount at least in the account, and then just letting it sit there. And then after you make that qualifying deposit, your cash reserve rate will increase by 0.75% on top of the current cash reserve APY, which is currently at 4.75%. So you'll see your boosted amount in the app also. So it won't just be like a ghost number that you just have to remember, like, oh, I'm actually getting this. It's like, you'll see that right there. So you'll get that boosted APY from the date of your initial deposit throughout the rest of the year. So all the way to December 31st, 2023. There's only a few more months left in 2023, but 5.50% on a nice amount of money is noticeable for sure. And at the end of the promotional period, so after December 31st, 2023, your interest rate APY will return back to that standard amount. So whatever it is currently at the time. And they also state that the boosted rate amount offered in this promotion is variable. So they're stating that that 0.75% could change. Now, I haven't seen that recently, like even when the APY for the cash reserve was different, when it was at like 4.50% or 4.25% or something like that, the boosted rate was still 0.75%. So I haven't seen that change, but they're stating that that's variable as well. It's one way to cover their bases. Like if they need to change it, they may change it. Who knows? They could go lower to 0.50% or they can go higher to 1% boost. And also they stated that if you elect to exclude your cash reserve deposits from one or more of their participating program banks, that Betterment is unable to guarantee you that promotional rate amount. And I'm going to talk more about the program banks and what those are and why somebody may exclude themselves from one of them or something like that, which isn't something typically people would do, but I'll go over that more in detail in the FDIC portion of this video. And with the cash reserve account, the interest is going to accrue daily and be credited on the first business day of each month. And the credited interest may be rounded to the nearest cent. And interest will accrue on the deposit account balances from the day the funds are received and accepted by the deposit bank through the business day preceding the date of withdrawal from the deposit bank. So pretty much the entire time the amount is in your account without, any kind of withdrawals going on or anything like that, you're going to be getting interest accrued on it. So your balance, there's no limits as far as like how much you have in your account is going to get a certain interest rate or no tiers or anything like that. The interest is going to accrue daily and then be credited monthly, which is going to be on the first business day of each month. Of course, you can't talk about interest and APYs without mentioning taxes in these detailed videos. Yes, that interest that you accrue and obtain through that nice high yield APY can be taxed. Betterment will provide a 1099-INT tax form by January 31st of each year if you earn $10 or more in interest during the previous calendar year. So you'll be able to download it directly within your account and they'll email you to let you know when it's available. So just for example, for illustrative purposes, if you had $20,000 in this Betterment cash reserve account at that 4.75% APY, and if you didn't make any other contributions after 5 years at that 4.75% APY, that $20,000 will be $25,223.20. So as you see right here, as the interest compounds, you gain interest on top of not only that base $20,000 amount that you have in the account, but also on top of the interest that has been paid to your account monthly. So that's why you see that balance amount and total amount go up, even though in this example, you aren't adding any additional money to the account. It's just going up because the interest is just accumulating and compounding on top of that interest. So each year you're gaining more interest because you're just keeping it in the account. And this is just a basic kind of example of if you had a base amount in the account, didn't make any additional contributions, and also important if the APY stayed the same. Now APYs are variable, so it's very unlikely that this account is going to stay at 4.75% for 5 years. It could go up later this year, it could go down, the trajectory of these kind of accounts and savings accounts and high yield accounts has been on an upward trajectory because of the federal funds rate that has been increasing. But that's not going to go on, forever, for, the next 5 years or 10 years, I don't say. I mean, don't know for sure, of course, but historically, typically, that wouldn't happen for that long. So this could stay here at 4.75% for, who knows, a little while longer. It can go down, it can go up. But just for a base example, I want to show you how interest is earned and how it accumulates and grows on top of interest in the balance and the principal balance itself. 4.75% makes up a very noticeable amount in the interest you would make right there compared to the other ones. And that's after 5 years. So that's like, for example, 1 year would be $950, but that's still going to be way higher than what you would get with 1.10%. So, which would be like, $220, something like that. Would it be? Let's see. Yeah, $220 interest. So yeah, very different amount right there. All right, so that is the information right there on the interest in APY. Very simple, but very understandable. High yield, very important to have a high yield account for emergency funds. Personally, I think it's very important to have a high yield account for the emergency funds or money that's just sitting there that you may need access to, but don't necessarily need access to every day or anything like that. So that is the APY and interest rate section on the Betterment Cash Reserve account. Now let's go on to more information about the FDIC insurance and how Betterment provides that up to $2 million FDIC insurance for individual accounts and $4 million for joint accounts. So with the Betterment Cash Reserve account and how they're able to provide that high FDIC insurance amount, because typically FDIC insurance covers up to $250,000 of deposits in banks and financial institutions. But for Betterment, what they do is they spread out the funds to one or more of their deposit program banks. They call them different amounts. Sometimes you hear the word program banks, participating banks, deposit banks. Betterment uses the word deposit banks, and they also use participating program banks. So what they do is they spread out your funds to these different banks to get you more than that $250,000 FDIC insurance. And now you don't see that. Basically, you're still dealing with Betterment. Like, you're not dealing with any of these other banks. Like, you don't have to log in and make an account with them or anything like that. That's hands off. You're still going to be handling your money, transferring, withdrawing, depositing, everything with Betterment with your account. And you'll still see your balance, the total amount. You won't see like, oh, this much in this bank and this much in that bank. That's all behind the scenes, behind the curtains. That's just how they get you more FDIC insurance. And so those deposits at each of those deposit banks are insured by the FDIC up to $250,000, including the principal and the accrued interest amount. And that's also when aggregated with all other deposits held in the same insurable capacity at each deposit bank. So one thing to keep in mind, I'm going to go over the list of their current deposit program participating banks, is that if you have an account with those other banks, whether it be a certificate of deposit or a savings account or something like that, well, that will go towards your $250,000 of FDIC insurance. So there is a possibility where there could be some conflict, and you may not get that full FDIC insurance provided by Betterment because it's going to include that amount that you have with that other bank. So that's why I'm going to show you the list of the other banks and everything, because if you have, it's just something to keep in mind there, where if you have an account with these other banks, that's going to go towards your FDIC insurance amount of that up to $250,000. So if you maxed out your account at Betterment, $2 million for an individual account, but also had an account at one of their program banks, and I'm going to go over these, here's the example right here, some of them, then you would need to know hey, your money's not going to be fully covered of the FDIC insurance because you already have some money in that account right there with the other bank. In certain type of accounts, such as trust accounts, may be eligible for additional FDIC insurance based on the number of beneficiaries, but the funds will be allocated to each deposit bank in a way that provides up to $250,000 of FDIC insurance for individual accounts and then $500,000 of FDIC insurance for joint accounts. And in the event that you maintain an individual or joint cash reserve account and are a beneficiary of a cash reserve trust account, Betterment does not provide FDIC insurance based on your status as a beneficiary. Something to keep in mind. It's something that doesn't pertain to everybody, but just in case you fall into that category right there, that example. Now, if you elect to exclude one or more deposit banks from receiving your funds, then the amount of FDIC insurance available to you through the cash reserve account is reduced. So for some reason, you're I don't want my money to deal with anything over at, a Wells Fargo or Bell Bank or something like that, one of the program banks. Well, then your FDIC insurance amount, that up to $2 million for individual, $4 million for joint, would be reduced because that would be taking away one of the program banks where Betterment could move funds to get that FDIC insurance. And if you had any questions about the deposit banks or complaints or anything like that, then you would be directed to Betterment. You would be emailing them and talking to them, not any of the deposit banks. You reach out to them, they're going to be like, you don't have an account with us, so who are you? Or something like that. Who knows? Maybe, I don't know what they'll say. But you're going to be still dealing with Betterment no matter where they have your funds at for that FDIC insurance. And your funds are still your funds as well. When you withdraw, if you want it, if you had $100,000 in there and you want to withdraw $100,000, you go through Betterment. You wouldn't go through any of the banks that money may be in for the FDIC insurance. And here are the list of the program banks for your cash reserve account. You got the Bancorp Bank, Barclays Bank Delaware, Cross River Bank, HSBC Bank, State Street Bank and Trust Company, Wells Fargo Bank, Citibank, First Internet Bank of Indiana, Bell Bank, Webster Bank, First Merchant Bank, Truist Bank, CIBC Bank. So there's some major banks for sure right there. Some lesser known banks, but definitely some major banks, Citibank, Wells Fargo, Truist. And they're going to have, and this list could be subject to change. So they could update this list by taking away a program bank or adding a program bank. And this list was last updated on September 6, 2023. So a few weeks ago from the recording of this video here. And if they took away a program bank for some reason, that's not saying like, hey, if your money was in that account, it's going to go away to that program bank or something like that. They would just basically move it to another bank that's still on their list. All right, so that is the section on the FDIC insurance. So it's very important, like I stated, with your money to have FDIC insurance, no matter what kind of account it's in, a checking account, savings account, hybrid savings checking account, cash reserve, cash account, CD, certificate deposit account. Have FDIC insurance is like one of my main requirements basically. And that's one thing for my ranking videos I do, that's a main requirement. If the account doesn't have that, it's not going to be on the video. So in any account that I do reviews on or in-depth reviews that people may be interested in, it's got to have FDIC insurance, because I really don't want to do a video on some account and have people be interested in it kind of. And, maybe they open an account with it and then the banker and financial institution goes under and their money's gone. Like, no, that's not a good feeling. So, yeah. And now let's go over to the next section, which is about deposits and withdrawals, which is very important for an account like this. Any kind of account dealing with your finances, with your cash, with your deposits, your money. You want to know about depositing more money and also withdrawing money, getting that money out of there, transferring it. And Betterment has unlimited withdrawals. So you don't have to worry about any kind of fee or any kind of limitations. Oh, you made the cap, of this many fees, or you hit the cap of this many withdrawals this month or anything like that. Unlimited withdrawals. But let's get more into detail of that. And for funding the account, they stated for security reasons, they allow you to use up to 3 different external bank accounts to deposit and withdraw money from your cash reserve account every 90 days. And external bank accounts associated with active auto deposits or auto withdrawals also count towards that limit. So if you have some kind of automatic recurring deposit or something like that, that would count towards that limit of 3 right there they have. And they stated that no matter how many funding accounts you have connected, you will always be able to fund your cash reserve account with checking. So if you had a checking account with Betterment, that wouldn't count towards that. You'll still be able to withdraw, and transfer money with their checking account if you had even 3 external accounts linked to the account. You cannot set up multiple auto deposits into a cash reserve account, but you can set up auto deposits from one of the connected funding sources and then separately make manual one-time deposits from another funding source. So you can set up, your external, checking account or something like that to send $100 to this cash reserve account every month or every 2 weeks or something like that if you have that feature with them, and it would just be received by Betterment, in your cash reserve account. Funding this account, this isn't a physical, Betterment doesn't have a physical branch or anything. So this is all going to be electronically and online. So there's 2 main ways to fund your cash reserve account. And that's by instantly connecting a funding account, an external bank account, or through a wire transfer. And you can do either one of these. You can do both of these, you can do just one of these, however you want to fund the account basically. And connecting a funding account electronically creates a secure read-only connection with your financial institution through their data partner Plaid. And Plaid is very well known and used by various financial institutions, very trusted, and it connects basically like a middleman, connects Betterment with your external bank account in a read only. So you wouldn't be able to control or do anything with that external bank account with Betterment except for, receiving the funds and transfers and things like that. And Betterment states that they will never rent or sell your information to anyone. Of course, more information about that is on their privacy policy. And once you connect the funding account electronically in the past, you'll be able to choose that account instantly and connect it for funding purposes. So you don't have to keep adding the external account every time you want to transfer funds to or from it. Once you add it once, it's going to be on there. And so once you connect an external account for funding, you don't have to keep adding the account each time you want to transfer to or from that account. Unless you want to remove the account, it's going to be staying on your account. So to make it easier to transfer funds from that account to your Betterment cash reserve account or vice versa. And another way to fund your account is through a wire transfer. And they have more information about that online if you wish to fund your account through a wire transfer. And like right here, Betterment will generate instructions for you with the additional option to email you the instructions right here. So you can get on more information with wiring. Of course, you have to log in. I don't have an account with Betterment, but that's where you would do that at right there. And they state that they do not charge a fee for incoming wire transfers, but your bank may charge you a fee for sending one, and to check with your bank to learn more about their fees for wire transfers. So Betterment just stating that you can send them a wire transfer. They're not going to charge you any kind of percent or fee of it, but wherever you're sending that transfer from to Betterment, they may charge you a fee. So just check with them to see if they do. Some companies do, some companies don't. Electronically, you would just log in with your username and password, through Plaid and connect the account that way. However, if you didn't want to do that, or if the account didn't show up for an account that you can do that with, because some banks may not show up when you search for them in that part right there. So you can set up that account manually by using the account and routing number. If you have to add the account that way for the external account, then that's going to involve those micro deposits. You've likely done that as well. Basically, they deposit a couple of amounts less than $1 to that bank, and then you have to verify that within Betterment to let them know, like, hey, I can log into that bank and I have access to that bank. It's okay to add them for an external account source, basically. So that's the other way, electronically or manually. 2 ways to add an external account to Betterment so you can transfer funds to that account or withdraw funds from that account and transfer to Betterment, vice versa, and all that. And once you add that external account, you cannot delete it unless you add another one. So basically, they state that you will not be able to delete all of your connected funding accounts unless you add at least one new funding account to replace them. So you always have to have at least one account to be able to fund your account with. And then you could delete any other accounts. But if you have just one account, they were not going to let you delete it unless you, of course, delete your Betterment account, which, you can do that, of course. And for the deposits and withdrawals, if Betterment receives a request for something prior to 10 p.m. Eastern time, the funds will typically be received by the deposit bank the next business day. There is no minimum deposit amount, although individual deposit banks may establish minimum amounts for deposits, and there are no limits on the number of deposits or withdrawals you can make under the program, but the maximum aggregate daily deposit limit for ACH transfers, automatic clearinghouse transactions, is $300,000, and there is no maximum withdrawal amount. So there's a maximum deposit amount, but no maximum withdrawal amount. And deposits into the Betterment cash reserve account can take 1 to 3 business days to complete, and transactions can be subject to processing delays in certain circumstances, and bank holidays do not count as business days. For withdrawals from your Betterment cash reserve account, when you're transferring from Betterment cash reserve to an external account, that could typically take 1 to 2 business days, and there's no limit on how often you can do that. No withdrawal limits or how many times you can move money from your account. So you can withdraw money from your Betterment cash reserve account to an external account, Bank of America, JP Morgan Chase, somewhere, Wells Fargo, anywhere like that, SoFi, Ally. You could do, a certain amount, $100,000, $200, whatever, in that day, and another amount later that day, or to a different account that same day. No limits on that. So you could do that. It's just going to take 1 to 2 business days for that to show up typically in that other account. And they state that while 1 to 2 business days is generally the expected withdrawal timeline from the cash reserve account and the cash goals, which is part of that cash reserve account, withdrawing funds soon after a deposit can trigger a temporary hold on your withdrawal. This hold should last no longer than 5 business days. If further action is required on your part, we will let you know. So they're stating, like, if you deposit money that day and then immediately, soon after try to withdraw that money and transfer it to another account, then it may place a hold on your account. So you need to make sure that money settles within your cash reserve account before you withdraw it, just to avoid, any kind of holds or anything like that. And Betterment does not offer check or wire transfers for withdrawals, but of course they do offer the wire transfers for deposits into your account. Now, when it comes to check deposits, they don't allow physical check deposits or mobile check deposits. So they do not have that feature on the account currently. So that's one kind of con of this account, because, several online savings accounts do have at least that mobile check deposit feature where you can take a picture of the front and the back of the check to get it deposited in your account. Currently, the Betterment cash reserve account does not have that feature with it. And also, this is very important right here, Betterment does not have a direct deposit feature on their cash reserve account currently. So they state right here that Betterment's cash offerings are not like savings accounts that you can obtain at a traditional bank, in that it will not have its own routing and account number. And they state that we are not offering direct deposits of your paycheck to the cash reserve at this time. So that's something very important to note. And I want to make sure, hopefully you hear this if you're listening to the video and everything. That's why I like to put these videos in certain sections, because deposits and withdrawals are very important, and not being able to, direct deposit into this account could be a deal breaker for some people. Some people may not, still deposit your cash, your paycheck, and your checking account, and then transfer the money over here. You could do that, of course. But if you wanted to initially, automatically go to your cash reserve account right when you get paid, not going to be able to do that. You're going to have to transfer it from an external account, wherever you got that money at, to the Betterment cash reserve account. Currently at this time, they do not allow direct deposits to the cash reserve account. However, they state that if you need your cash reserve account number, it's not going to be called an account number. They state that that account number for your cash reserve account is the same as your personal account number. And they state, which you can find here. I'm pretty sure it's going to make me log on. Yeah. So I don't have an account, so I can't find that, of course. But they stated that just to note that you will not be able to use this number to conduct any transfers, including wire transfers. When you set up the transferring or withdrawal accounts through Betterment, you're going to be adding the external account right there. So you're going to be adding the other accounts so you can transfer and withdraw to them. Adding Betterment to another account, that's going to be, an issue right there because they don't have an account number. So they state that you can't use that number to conduct transfers on that side. So they state, even though, of course, you don't have an account number or routing number with the Betterment cash reserve account, you'll still be able to wire or transfer funds directly from another connected funding account or connect a funding account within your Betterment account in order to initiate a transfer into your cash reserve or cash goals, which cash goals are a part of the cash reserve. So you can still, add external accounts and everything like that, even though you don't have a specific account number and routing number for the cash reserve account, but you can still transfer money electronically or manually by adding the external account. And also you can do wire transfers into the cash reserve account. And they do not have any kind of debit or ATM card with the cash reserve account. Betterment does have a Visa debit card that you can get if you open a checking account. And that would allow you to access your funds in checking. And you will not be able to access your cash reserve with that debit card. So in order to, access your cash reserve funds, if you had that checking account with the debit card, you would have to basically transfer your money from the cash reserve account to your checking account. And then you could have it that way with that debit card, which that's the way I've done with other financial institutions that have a savings account and checking account. SoFi, for example, because SoFi's savings account doesn't have an ATM card or debit card, but I could easily transfer money from my savings account to my checking account with SoFi and, have access to that money that way. And just overview right here, deposits into the cash reserve generally take 1 to 3 business days, while withdrawals out of the cash reserve generally take 1 to 2 business days to complete. And if the transfer is between the Betterment cash reserve account and the Betterment checking account, most transfers under the total daily limit of $10,000 between those two account types will be available on the same day if the transfer qualifies for a same-day transfer. Transfers that are eligible for a same-day transfer are automatically completed on the same day they are initiated whenever possible. And if you have the investing account and investing goal with Betterment, then in the cash reserve account, then you could transfer funds between those two up to 5 times a day. And these transactions typically take 1 to 2 business days to complete. Transfers from the individual cash reserve account to the individual stocks and bond investing, like I stated, is 1 to 2 business days. To the joint stocks and bond investing, 1 to 2 business days. To another individual cash reserve account and exclusive of money held in cash goals, the same day. Same thing with joint transfers. And individual checking, going to be the same day processing. Joint checking, same day. So transfers from the individual cash reserve account to the Betterment checking account typically is going to be a same business day transaction right there. So transfers from an individual cash reserve account to an individual checking or joint checking account with Betterment typically is going to be a same day transfer right there. And transfers from an individual cash reserve account to an individual crypto, 1 to 4 days. And from an individual cash reserve account to a non-Betterment checking account, it's going to be 1 to 2 days. And Betterment does have account statements if you want to see your transfers or any details like that. Betterment automatically uploads statements in PDF format on a monthly basis, typically within the first week of the month. You can download that monthly account statement just by, logging into your account, selecting documents from the menu there. And with the Betterment mobile app being available on the Apple App Store and the Google Play App Store, which is one of the main features of an online savings account, cash account, checking accounts, any kind of online financial account, is a mobile app. That's going to be one of the main components of it. So it's very important, I think, to have a nice mobile app with a great interface, the availability of various features to be done within the app. So let's check out some of the screenshots provided for the apps and the reviews. Here we go with the first one. So you can kind of get a good idea of how the app will look, if you downloaded it. The Betterment app, of course, you're going to have the cash reserve account right here, and they have the cash reserve account right here. So you kind of see how it's going to look within the app. You see the balance, the current APY. See that theirs is boosted, so they got that 5.50% APY, the new customer boost right there. You have the total interest paid amount right there is nice. You got deposit feature, transfer feature, reoccurring transactions right there, recent activity. Let's see what else they have here. And that's the investment platform right there with the tax loss harvesting on or off feature right there. And this is one of the investing accounts they have right here. And they're showing you that you could turn the tax loss harvesting on or off. And this isn't the cash reserve account right here, but this for the investment platform. You could choose a certain portfolio to meet your, what you would like in a portfolio for your investments, whether it be focused on technology or core investments or climate, just various right there. And there's a screenshot of the retirement account on the app and crypto investing within the app and fine print and more fine print. Yeah, so let's check out some of the reviews here on the Google Play. Over 12,000 reviews with an average of 4.7 stars out of 5. So that's nice right there. You see mostly 5 stars and then 4 star. And then after that, 1 star, but mostly 5 and 4 stars. So that's nice to see. Your review says the app is clean and easy to use, able to set up automatic deposits, check balance, account performance. So that's a good review right there. And a 4-star review, app works well, no complaints. But compared to the desktop side, the app is extremely limited. And so on. Got more reviews right there. You do find that sometimes, a nice app you could do some stuff with, but to go the extra mile kind of sometimes, or to do more, have to log on to the website version. I've noticed that with some financial institutions, and sometimes it's almost the other way around, where it's just way easier to use the app, and I never log on to the actual website of the company. So sometimes you get the other side of that. And another review right here, 3-star. App is so confusing. Layout is cluttered. You got to also look at the dates, of course, with this, because there's updates that happen with that mobile app. So that was 2020 with that one. And this review was newer, and it says the app is clean. So could have been possible updates, 1 or 2 updates, multiple updates, 1 major update. Could have changed that. Well, some other reviews here. And we'll just go by what I got most relevant. Let's go to newest reviews. 4-star there, 1 star, 3-star, 1 star, instant bad experience. So 2-star, 2-star, 4-star, 1 star. Various reviews right here. Some 1 stars and 2 stars for sure. Then there's some 5 stars coming in. So definitely something to look into, when you're deciding upon using an account or a financial institution, is to, check out other people's experience with them online. People will post reviews, and not everybody's going to post, their good experience with a company or even their bad experience with a company or their account. So also think about that when you're reading through these, but it is neat to look through and see what's going on, and sometimes see the replies, because you can reply to reviews on these mobile apps, platforms on Google Play and Apple. And right here you see Betterment has replied to some of these, so that's good to see. So let's check out the Apple App Store for Betterment. So you got some of the same screenshots right there. And for the reviews, all right, and 5 stars and 5 stars and 1 star. Change is not always good. Really like the company. App needs help. 3 stars on that. That's back in 2018 though. So yeah, kind of wondering what criteria makes these reviews stand out of the 43,000 reviews they have. These are the random ones that are selected to be shown here on the website when just looking at the app. Here, some from 2018 and 2019, and there's 2022. So yeah, you could also look on the actual phone, in the App Store within the app, and filter it by recent reviews and certain review criteria on there. Can't do that on the website of the Apple App Store, so that's a little bit different. But that is the mobile app for Betterment on the Apple App Store and the Google Play App Store. And eligibility for the cash reserve account: you must reside in the United States full-time to use Betterment services, and you must be at least 18 years old. And they don't run any kind of credit check when you open a cash reserve account. Credit checks are not required to use their cash management products, so you will not have any kind of credit check done on you when you sign up for the cash reserve account. However, of course, they do collect personal information upon sign up, which is, typical here. I'm opening up a bank account or any kind of financial account. They're going to need to have some personal information about you. Like they said, they're mandated to collect personal information by regulators and the IRS. So there's no way around that. And that is it with my video on the Betterment Cash Reserve account. Hope you all enjoyed the video. Take care.